Hari Om. இறைவணக்கத்தோட ஆரம்பிக்கலாம். Let's begin with a prayer. Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Sam Saraswatye Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Om Shri Chinmaya Sadgurave Namaha. Om Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram Om Shri Chinmaya Sadgurave Namaha. Mukam karoti vachalam Panghum langhayate girim Yatkripatamaham vande Paramanandamadhavam. Om Namo Narayanaya Tasmai Namaswami Tapovanaya. Can you? Once again. I thought I was hearing myself. Is the audio okay? Some of you on the video can say like this if the audio is fine. There's no echo or anything. Okay. So before we get into the actual session, class session, just a brief discussion on the topic itself. The topic itself. The topic we have chosen for this series of sessions is, as you know, 25 lessons from Srimad Bhagavad Gita. So right away, some question may arise. Why 25 lessons? Why 25? Of course, without a doubt, there are innumerable lessons that we can glean out of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. What to say? Each sloka is a mantra. Just a pada or a pada, which pada means just one quarter of the sloka can be a mantra. There are many mantras like that. And even one pada, that is even one word, a single word, when we reflect upon, meditate upon, and dive into it, so many insights and so many profound meanings can come out of it. So when that is the case, why 25? Actually speaking, even one is enough, isn't it? Even one is enough. Even if we take one message from the Gita, one sloka, one pada, and dive into it with all reverential attitude, invoking Shri Krishna Paramatma, Srimad Bhagavad Gita, and Guru Parampara, whatnot, we can get so much out of it. When that is the case, this 25 is just a number, that's all. It's just a number to start, to begin. A target to achieve as a first decent baby step, I can say. Okay. And even out of this 25, even if one we can take, imbibe, and let it work on us, then everything is achieved. We have accomplished life's purpose then. And with one lesson more, all the rest will be understood. If one is understood, then everything will be understood, isn't it? So we begin, that's all there is to talk about this 25. But again, before the first lesson from the Bhagavad Gita that we are going to discuss, reflect upon, let us first reflect on the glory of this divine Grantha itself, Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Because it's not an ordinary book, it's not an ordinary text, as we all know, right? Amba Tvam Anusandadhami Bhagavad Gita Bhavadveshini. Shri Madhusudana Saraswati ji glorifies and calls her as mother. Mother, I reflect upon you. Anusandadhami, again and again and again. You hate this Bhavasagar existence and you will destroy all my worries and sorrows that come out of this worldly existence. For that reason, I reflect upon you again and again, O sweet divine mother. So we invoke Bhagavad Gita, we invoke Mother Gita to bless us and reveal herself and remove all our doubts. Otherwise, it's not possible to think out of our own ignorance and arrogance that we can read and understand. It's not that it will not work that way. Because you know why? These are the most pristine words and most divine words coming from whom? From the Supreme Lord Shri Krishna himself. Actually, in Krishna's own words, what he says about his own teachings, his own Gita teachings, he says in Mahabharatam to Arjuna, Gita me hridayam partha, he says. Gita me hridayam partha. This Bhagavad Gita is my heart. This is what Shri Krishna says about Gita himself. Right? And he has opened his heart not just to Krishna, Arjuna Miniti Kritya, using him, Arjuna, as an instrument. Right now, he has chosen all of us and he has opened his heart. He opens his heart to us. So that should be our attitude when we approach Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Srimad Bhagavad Gita, the divine celestial song, our mother, who will get us out of this worldly existence and put an end to all our sorrows. It is Bhagwan's heart, and he is opening it for my sake, not for Arjuna, not for the class students, not for the teacher, but to me. This moment is the right moment, and I have been chosen. I am the chosen one. Through whatever medium it may come, but I've been chosen by the Lord himself, Guru himself, and this Grantha, Gita Mata herself. That's why they say, Gita Sugita Kartavya, Kim Anyai Shastra Vistarehi. Meaning, Gita Sugita Kartavya, it has to be read well. Gita, the text, the Grantha, has to be read well. What Kim Anyai Shastra Vistarehi means, what is the purpose of having so many texts and reading them so many times and going over so many explanations? Because everything that has to be known is found here itself. Isn't it? Such an eternal, timeless teaching, universal teaching, that even now, thousands of years later, also it is so relevant, and it has been translated and commented upon by so many. The most translated and the most commented upon Grantha or text, we can say. Such is the relevance, such is the impact and profundity of Gita. In Gita itself, in every chapter at the end, we say, no, Srimad Bhagavad Gita, so Upanishad, so Brahma Vidyayam, Yoga Shastra. So it's Brahma Vidya, it is Atma Vidya, it is Upanishad, it is the highest teaching, philosophical teaching, the absolute truth we can ever hear. Right? So high, so noble, absolute. And at the same time, being the highest philosophical truth, it is also Yoga Shastra, meaning the most practical. Yoga means it is to be practiced, it is to be done, it is to be perfected, lived, imbibed, isn't it? So the highest philosophical truth is just not something so high and out of reach, and at the same time, most practically to be lived upon, Yoga Shastra. So from a text like this, Gita, from whatever angle, whatever aspect one approaches, one will get accordingly so many lessons. It's a Marga Darshana Grantha, whether you call it, so many people take desire management, anger management, stress management, grief management, Marga Darshana. So many lessons can be gleaned from those approaches, from those angles. It's a Adhyatma Grantha, talks about what is this world, its creation, who is the creator, who am I, how are we all related. Adhyatma Grantha, Brahma Vidya, and Bhautika Grantha also. One wants to be a good leader, a good sportsman, a good businessman, a teacher, a student. One can glean all those lessons. Dharma Grantha, on my duties, I'm not sure what I should do, whether I should or not, right? So from whatever angles, freedom fighters, national leaders, sportsmen, scientists, businessmen, even people from other nations, other religions, prisoners have found their solace, comfort, insights, and even enlightenment from this beautiful divine knowledge. And we are all privileged just to be here, to take part, to listen to, and to reflect upon these divine teachings by the grace of Guru. With that reverential approach, we reflected upon the greatness of Bhagavad Gita and talked about her, to invoke her blessings. So, so seeking the blessings of Gita Mata, Shri Krishna Paramatma, the divine teacher, Sadguru, Jagat Guru, Shri Krishna Paramatma, and our Guru Parampara, starting from Vyasa Bhagavan, who has given us this beautiful message, and Bhagavan Shankaracharya ji, Bhashikarar, who has commented upon it, and in our Guru Parampara, up to our Gurudev, Gita Jnana Yajna Pracharakaya Namaha, invoking all their blessings, we begin our sessions. So again, first lesson, so many lessons, first lesson, anything could have been picked up, but just to start, we'll see today this Nanu Shochanti Panditaha. That message we take. Nanu Shochanti Panditaha. Meaning what? Plainly put in English, the wise do not grieve. Now, many people ask, what is the theme of Bhagavad Gita? What is the central message, one message? Some argue saying it is Jnana Yoga. Some say, no, the Gita propagates duties, Karma Yoga. Some say Bhakti. Bhakti is the predominant message, if you say. And there is enough room. Like I said, so many angles, so many lessons. Each one can get from one pada different lessons also. Right? One only has to have a pure heart and a receptive mind. So that way one can argue the theme, the central message of Gita as many things. But if we take the text, Shri Krishna Paramatma actually begins his discourse, his instructions to Arjuna from Sloka 2.11, the 11th Sloka of the second Adhyaya chapter, where he begins this way, Nanu Shochanti Panditaha, and ends with Sarvadharman Parityaja Mamekam Sharanam Vraja Aham Tva Sarva Papebhyah Mokshayishyami Ma Shucha. In the 18th chapter, towards the end, we see Ma Shucha. Do not worry. Do not worry. The wise do not grieve. You also don't worry. Be wise. That seems to be the message at the beginning, at the end, and also you will see him repeating several times in the middle also. It's easy to say, okay, message, is that enough? Now that we've heard first lesson, don't worry, be happy. Gurudev also simply said, no, even for Bal Vihar children, he said, keep smiling, keep smiling. Nice message, makes us happy. They have said it, but is it easy to follow? Gurudev has said, I'm going to keep smiling. You try, even for one day, to try to live, keep smiling always or not to worry. So difficult, isn't it? But they just didn't say it, but they lived it, and it's there. We all know his history. We've read the Bhagavatam, Mahabharatam. We know his history. He was born in jail, separated from his parents, even as an infant on the very first night. Even though he was a prince, he was brought up as a cowherd boy miles away. And there again, he had to be separated from all his dear ones. His own uncle was trying to kill him, was conspiring to kill him even before he was born. From day 3, he had to fight those demons, right? What not? And all the struggles and all the insults and humiliations and tribulations he had to go through for the sake of his dear cousins and friends and devotees, the Pandavas. He was humiliated, hurt, and even cursed to death. We know about Shri Krishna's life. But not once we see ever him frowning or grieving upon. any of these reasons. He didn't find any of these reasons valid or worth enough to ruffle him. He was above all of it. He lived it, so he spoke it. Also, we are speaking about it, but with the hope and prayers that may this message sink and also transform us. Okay. So this message, Nanu Shochanti Panditaha, how do we see this in the context of the text as instruction from Shri Krishna to Arjuna, its implications, and then how to personalize it, the personal takeaways. Okay. So, in the context, if we see, where does this come, the statement? After Arjuna's arguments in the first chapter, so many verses, so many slokas of complaining and grieving and all that, especially if you say from the chapter 135 to 44, there are so many seemingly intelligent arguments and debates that Arjuna gives to Shri Krishna to stop the war, to prevent him from fighting. Okay, after all that, and he continues again for a few slokas, for a couple of slokas in chapter 2 also. And after all those arguments and again crying and grieving and complaining and whining, Arjuna, Krishna, just as a patient listener, just gives a patient ear to everything that Arjuna has to say, and he opens his game, his batting with this statement. Imagine in the World Cup finals, you're facing the toughest opponent and the toughest bowler to open with a sixer. This is much more than that, much beyond that. Why I'm saying this? Because in all our opinion, okay, in my ignorant opinion at least, when I think of Arjuna's situation, without the background of Gita, just plain to think of his situation. Worst situation ever, worst scenario ever anyone can face, isn't it? If anyone in this world ever, in the history of world, of this universe, deserves a right to grieve, it is Arjuna. His situation was such a horrible, terrible situation. What choices did he have? What choices did he have? In front of him, his own teacher, his own grandsire, his father figure standing there, and so many kinsmen, his own cousins and brothers and uncles and all of them on both sides of the war. And he knows the end. Whether win or lose, it's going to be a calamity, a disaster. He knows that. And he's standing there. What choice does he have? To do or die? That is not even a choice. We say death is the worst situation anyone can ever encounter. That is, who is equipped to handle death, right? Unless you are there. But there may be situations even worse than that. We see that through Krishna, through Arjuna's this circumstance, this situation, there was no choice at all. Whether to kill or to fight and be an instrument in all their deaths and killings, or to just run away and hide and live a life of eternal shame. Is this a choice? Sometimes this shame is worse than death, isn't it? To be a cause of others' death, or to live in life of shame, which is worse than death. What to do? To him, to such an Arjuna in such a situation, if Shri Krishna says, you do not deserve to grieve over this matter, it's not a valid reason. Rise above it. Rise above it. What to talk of our petty paltry complaints? If Arjuna in such a situation does not deserve, not that he was not even prepared, right? It was a lifetime of preparation and 12 years of hard tapascharya to face this, yet he could not face it. And to him in this situation, he says, and Krishna does not say this once. He says it again and again. If you see in the immediate next 20 slokas also, he can, Natvam shochitam harasi, Naiva shochitam harasi, Nanu shochitam harasi, Tatra ka paridevana, again and again. Why you cry? Why you grieve? There is no reason. So anytime, even though we may not understand the reason why we should not cry or why we should cry, but just listening to Krishna's roar again, no, you do not deserve to worry. You do not deserve sorrow. You do not deserve to be unhappy. He is saying again and again, not once, to Arjuna itself, what are my situations in life? That at least by sure, pure Shraddha and Bhakti, if we just take it, that's it, our life is made, isn't it? So if we take the sloka, we say, I apologize right away. It is going to go much beyond the time. Okay, but I'm just going to go. I have this recording also. If you have other commitments, please feel free. But I just have to go. Okay. So this sloka, we say it is a Vastu Sangraha Vakya. Vastu Sangraha Vakya technically means it is a summary, it is a gist, it is an overview, which is to be elaborated, which is to be expanded upon. So the entire Gita, we can say, is an explanation, commentary, bhashyam of this one message. The wise do not grieve. The entire Gita, we can say. At least in this chapter, if we say, starting from the 12th sloka of the second chapter, the very next verse, all the way up to Sthita Prajna Lakshana, is a commentary, explanation, elaboration of this gist, of this summary statement, the wise do not grieve. Okay, so let's see that a little bit more. So first, let us try to analyze why Arjuna grieved in the first place. Why was he grieving? Yes, the reasons when, like I said in the beginning, when you superficially look at it, he deserves, because there seems to be no reasonable choice, no safe choice at all, no choice at all. So he's grieving. What else he can do? I also don't know. It looks like that. But why he grieved? First thing we know, he lost his objectivity. He lost the big picture. He lost the context, isn't it? There was an identity crisis, certainly. All that certainty and everything that he had, the confidence that he had, even right before then, all vanished, gave way, and he collapsed. Instead of identifying himself as a dharma yodha, as a warrior standing there for the sake of dharma, which is much greater than life itself, life of himself, life of anybody else. Such is dharma. That is the cause. And he's a warrior. That is his duty. He's a kshatriya. But suddenly, seeing Sri Bhishma Pitamaha and Sri Dronacharya, he identified himself as this limited son of so-and-so, grandson of so-and-so, student of so-and-so, and that attachment blinded him. He lost himself. Dharma sammoha chetaha, he himself says, he got deluded. Who am I? What am I to do? His entire role and responsibilities he forgot. That's what happens, isn't it? When we do not know who we are in that context, in that place, in that situation, then we are not clear about what to do, what not to do. So in any situation, whether in family or in the society or at the work, the first thing is to be made clear, what is my role? What are my responsibilities? Who am I? What should I do? Why am I here on this earth? To whatever level we can take, and must understand and analyze that. There in that context, he forgot what he was there for. Like I said, it was not even lack of preparation, it was not that he didn't knew, but at that moment, and Shri Krishna had a pivotal role to play. He was the one who drove the chariot and made it halt right there in front of Bhishma Pitamaha and Dronacharya. To shake him up so he can give these divine instructions to all of us. So from this itself, we can, first thing is when we feel there is some reason to grieve, when we feel, worried or anxious or sad, let us take some time, let us stand apart from the situation itself, be objective, and analyze the cause for the grief. In what position I am? Does this really deserve to be grieved upon? Let's just analyze at that moment. Okay. So too, Shri Krishna does that analysis for Arjuna, and he says, the wise never grieve, okay? And he says, there is no reason to grieve. Ashoshan envashochaswam prajnavadam shabhashase. You deserve you are grieving for those who do not deserve to be grieved. Whom are you grieving for? You are grieving for, actually speaking, Shri Bhishma Pitamaha and Shri Dronacharya. Look at them. Are they worried to kill you, to fight you? See, actually, they say in this world, a child's love for the mother, the parent is great, but cannot be compared at all in front of the parent's love for the child, isn't it? Isn't it? Can it be even compared? So that way, if you see also, they should have such emotional connection and all these feelings also, but they seem unruffled, know what they are doing and so firm and steady there. Because why? They are such great people of such great wisdom. They had the self-knowledge. They knew who they were. They knew the universal plan. They had such shraddha in karma, in the law of karma, in God's divine plans, the bigger scheme. They even knew who Shri Krishna Paramatma was. They knew who they were, and they were just playing their role, as if on a stage. Very cool, and to the dot playing their role. They were not ruffled. So are you crying for them? Are you grieving for them? Really? What for? Right? And even temporarily, as Bhishma, as Drona, as warriors, doing their duty, if they have to give up their life, if they end up dying, they will go to heaven. So what are you grieving for? Them? That will be how long they are going to live. They are already, I don't know, Bhishma Pitama is living there for so many years. There has to be an end, isn't it? Okay. Or are you crying for those felons? Those Kauravas, you call them your brothers and all that. Felons they are. As a Dharma Kshatriya, that's your duty to get rid of them. Even Shri Krishna, even I myself could not put some sense into their head. I could not transform them. I could not teach or put it. They were so deluded. He tried not to stop the war, to put some sense into their head. He went as a Duta. That also did not happen. So what else you can do? They chose this end themselves. They have all chosen, whoever has come, they have chosen this end by themselves. Each and every warrior there has made their choice. Now it is your time to make your choice. They have choice, they are clear. And also, is there not a bigger plan, a greater purpose to life, a higher power, a superior power which rules, governs everything? Is there not a universal order called karma that is working through all of this? And we are just puppets, isn't it? You think if you do not pick up the Gandiva and if you don't take part in the war, everybody will live eternally? And you ought to be accountable for all those things without this war? Will they not die? So, Prajnavadamscha Bhasha say, you are speaking like an intelligent person, giving all those logical reasons why not to fight a war, and that is Dharma, this and that. But there is a conflict right there. And these people do not deserve to be grieved. Also, you know why? The biggest reason, you know why? Prajnavadam Shabashase Gatasuna Gatasuncha Nanushokshanti Pandita. The wise do not grieve for the Gatasun and Agatasun. Gatasuna, one who have departed, one whose life has left. The life spark has left. And going to die. That's all, no? So the wise people do not grieve for the departed or those who are departing, we can say. We may be celebrating our birthday one day closer to the end. That's all. Patinathar beautifully says, செத்து கிடக்கும் பிணத்தருகே இனிசாம் பிணங்கள் கத்தும் கணக்கென்ன கான், கைலாயபுரி காலத்தில். Kailaya Puri Kalatil. 'Setthu kidakkum pinattharige inisam pinangal katthum kanakkenna kaan, kailaya puri kaalathil. 'Setthu kidakkum pinattarige inisam pinangal katthum kanakkenna kaan, kailaya puri kaalathil. 'Setthu kidakkum pinattarige inisam pinangal katthum kanakkenna kaan, kailaya puri kaalathil. Those who know Tamil can understand this. செத்து கிடக்கும் பிணத்தருகே இனிசாம் பிணங்கள் கத்தும் கணக்கென்ன காண். So this is the situation. Then why do you grieve? So these people do not deserve to be grieved. The situation does not deserve, even if you take Kauravas, they don't deserve your grief, right? So how does Bhagavan Shri Krishna, in this very verse itself, he has given the explanation why you should not grieve. Then again, I said in this chapter from 2.12 to up to Siddha Prajna Lakshana, he gives reasons why not to grieve from many perspectives. If you take the knowledge perspective, from the knowledge perspective also, you do not deserve to grieve over this matter. Why? Because your true identity, me, you, and all these warriors, Bhishma, Drona, and all these great kings are nothing but the pure self. Birthless, deathless, changeless, the self that never perishes, cannot be cleaved, cannot be cut, burnt, dried, drowned, nothing cannot be destroyed by any means, human or natural or divine, or even by divine. That self is such eternal, indestructible. Why do you grieve for that? That is our true identity. Najayate, no. Yeah. Najayate vriyate va kadachit. Right? There is no death or birth for this pure self. From that supreme knowledge, from that supreme identity as the pure consciousness, there is going to be no death actually. Do you cry? Do you cry in the waking for your dead husband or son in the dream? For the husband or son who died in the dream, do you cry in the waking? Does any sane person, any wise person will do that? That is his thing. First, that one he gives. Then okay, if that is too much for you and you take yourself and all of us as individuals, limited jivatmas, we see again and again, born to die and die to be born again. Chatasya hi dhruvo mrityu, dhruvam janma mritasya cha. We know the cycle. It's a universal order. How anyone can fight it? Then also, we cannot do anything. We should not grieve upon it. If you're so attached to these bodies of Bhishma, Drona, and yourself, that also we know. Avyaktadini bhutani, vyaktamadhyani bharata. Everything is unmanifest, comes into manifestation for some time, then goes into unmanifest again. That's all. I even asked, it comes with an expiry date, along with the manufacturing date. Only we don't know it. So from pure knowledge perspective, you take yourself as the Atma, deathless, imperishable. As Jivatma, the cycle will go on and on. This body, we know it's temporary, it's going to go at some point for what? Some reason or the other. It's just a bubble in the middle. That's all. Even if you take the worldly perspective, the materialistic perspective, O Arjuna, from the standpoint of the material gains and worldly fame and whatnot, you say that if you do this war and if you become the reason for their death, then that will become a sin. So let me run away. You'll go to hell otherwise by killing them. That's what you say. But that is wrong. Because if you run away and live in hiding, first of all, they will not let you live. They will hunt you and kill you. And you will have to die miserably. Otherwise, what will happen? Even if you choose that, you are going to live a eternal life of shame only. But whereas if you win, you will have all the material gains, isn't it? So from material worldly perspective also, there is nothing to worry, because the other choice is not, it's a very poor choice. From the standpoint, from the perspective of dharma, the most important, see, in duty, we should understand it's a win-win situation always. It's a win-win situation always. On duty, one dies, heaven. Straight away to heaven. No stops anywhere else. One dies on duty, goes to heaven. If one is on duty and cannot perform the duty very well, struggling due to lack of skills or whatever, is struggling to perform the duty well, then also no worries, no sin will come because of those imperfections. All these are coming in those slokas in the second chapter. Okay. Say mahato bhayat swalpam apyasya dharmasya. Even by little bit, by striving to do your duty, even though imperfect you're striving, you will not get any sin or any ill fame from doing your duty. But if you do well, and you don't die, you do well, you do perfectly, and you do well in your duty, then you will get all the kingly, all the kingly gains. You'll get the sovereignty over the lordship of the entire earth and enjoy with fame. This is true for everyone. When on duty, something a mishap happens, then also there is only fame. Then also it is only progress. You strive and you cannot do to perfection. No, nothing, no ill fame, no nothing defect can touch you as long as you are striving on your duty. And if you do well, then you get all fame, you get all material gains, isn't it? So in duty, it's win-win situation, Arjuna. So from knowledge perspective, from dharma perspective, from the worldly fame and material gains perspective, you do not deserve to grieve over anything at all at any time. This seems to be the message of Sri Krishna and his explanations in that very verse and in that entire chapter. But does that mean be like a stone? Do not grieve, be like a stone, right? Somebody says, brings a bad news. You say, the wise do not grieve. I'm trying to be wise now. Okay? That's not that, right? The word itself, na anushochanti. Anushochanti. Anushochanti means repeatedly, again and again and again. Grief, anger, all these are emotions. They may come. They may arise. Unless we are sthita prajna, till that time it will come. But try to be objective, stand apart, analyze the cause, and see what you can do to get over it. What solution can be worked out instead of brooding, grieving, and just remaining in that depression. That's just the message, not to be like a stone. You may feel that grief, you may express it also, but just do not be, those words that we say so lightly all the time. Oh, I'm depressed. Such a negative word, isn't it? Even small children use that word like that so lightly. That is what Shri Krishna is against. Not to say that you be like a stone and do not feel grief at all or any emotion at all. You may feel it, analyze the cause, try to get over it. What is practical you do? Because grief is a tamasic quality. Once it comes, it obstructs our thinking, prevents us from acting upon or working towards a solution. Therefore, when you feel that, then try to be objective. The only solution is right thinking and action. There may be many reasons to grieve, right? There may be many reasons. One may say material loss, bereavement of a dear one, disease, disability, discomfort, disappointment, so many dishonor, death, so many reasons to grieve. But can you tell one reason to be happy? One reason to be happy? Actually, we don't need any reason to be happy. We just want to be happy, isn't it? We just want to be happy always, infinitely. And all the happiness. Anyone will say, no, I don't want happiness at any time. Or I want to grieve. No. If we can get out of grief, if we can be happy, we want to be happy. Because that's our nature. That's what we want for no reason at all. For no reason at all. So now, how practically, as a takeaway, this entire Bhagavad Gita tries to be a practical grief management lesson for me. For me, how Srimad Bhagavad Gita expands upon this Nanushochanti Panditaha, do not worry, the wise do not grieve. What is the practical takeaway or implication for me from the entire Gita? If you take Karma Yoga as the explanation, as the solution for getting out of grief, when we are in grief, try to apply the message of Karma Yoga. You say to yourself, I am a firm believer in the law of karma, in Ishvara as the Karma Adhyaksha and Karma Paladhata. I believe in karma, in this universal, eternal order, this universal constitutional law, which governs across all boundaries and across all times, over all beings, over all jivatmas, higher beings, lower beings. No escape. Whether I understand it, whether I believe it, whether I know it, it is going to work. So I better believe it. I may not know the reason why such and such a thing happened that is causing me this grief, but I only know it is due to the law of karma. It is my own past deed only. And by that extension, I also firmly believe that what I do now is going to become my future. So I just stand apart, think right, and take the future in my hands, and I'm going to work what is best. I may not get out of it immediately. I may not be putting an end to the grief or finding a solution or fight back immediately. But whatever I do, the result, I may not know. It may not be immediate. It may not be in this Janma also. But I know this is what I have to do, and I will keep striving for it. That's all. Result, whenever it has to come, let it come. I do not know. It's not in my hands. No. But I believe in karma. I know I am an instrument in the big scheme, in a much bigger scheme, and there's a greater purpose to life. I do not know all that has happened in the past. I do not know the future. But if I am here, it's out of my own past deed. I deserve to be here. And if I deserve to be out of it, then it's in my own hands. So using that karma yoga, let's try to work out a solution and come out of that grief. If we take bhakti yoga, the message of bhakti is what? Again in Bhagavad Gita. Everything is Sri Krishna's prasadam, right? The Lord's Ishvara prasada buddhi. Everything. The killer is Sri Krishna and everyone is Krishna and everything is his prasada. He gives, he takes away. The killer is also Krishna. The poison is also Krishna prasadam only. Nothing is mine. Everything that happens, everyone who comes in life is God sent alone. Then also there is no reason to grieve. Then also we find the courage, the ability to get out of it. Because then there is no reason only, really. You don't see it as a grief at all. That's how we've seen in the so many life histories of bhaktas, isn't it? Alvars, Nayanmars, they were tied to big rocks and thrown in the ocean or fed with poison or put in the dark room with so many snakes. So many things happened. Prahlad, Meeraji, our Appar. So many examples. That situation was not even cause of grief for them. They saw only that as a time to connect, to call the Lord and bring him closer. That is the mentality of the Bhakti Jnani Bhakta. Finally, if we take Jnana Yoga, we have seen the reasons previously also, but just understanding the temporary nature of things and reflecting upon their defects, their doshas. Right? Matra spashastu kaunteya, agama apayino, anityaha. Everything is only a sense tingling, sense objects, sense tingling. It is giving me joy one moment, sorrow one moment. It will come, it will go. Everything has an end. So that way, if we just reflect upon the temporary nature of things and their defects, develop the detachment and be happy. Okay. So, Nanu Shochanti Pandidaha. There may be so many things we can keep talking. First, I started thinking 15 minutes, half an hour, and now I think I've gone much beyond half an hour also. And there is no end to reflect upon this, isn't it? Whatever appeals to us, we can take and try to apply it again and again. Try to apply it again and again. Then we will feel the inner transformation happening and Gita-ji working on us, inside us. So the first lesson, message that Shri Krishna has given us for life, for today, for us, for me, is the wise do not grieve. I do not deserve to be unhappy. So anytime, any small this, that happens, which may ruffle me, just this Krishna's roar as an inner voice in our heart, it should be loudly heard in our inner ears. Natvam shochitum arhasi, nanu shochandi panditaha, name bhakta pranashyati. So with that promise, with that assurance, with that roar, with that instruction, let us be cheerful and spread cheer. Let us keep smiling and spread that smile and happiness to all around us. Okay? Great. Let's reflect upon this and we meet again on Wednesday. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Guru Bhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Krishna 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 Krishna.